What's up, gamers? How the heck are you? Welcome to another Grounded video. In today's video, I want to go over a topic that a lot of people have asked me in my comments to start covering maybe some basic aspects of this game. So as we get newer members into the Grounded universe, understanding where things have come from the first installment of this game till now, it can be daunting. And there's a lot of information to pack in, especially if you're not used to survival style games or certain games like this. So without further ado, let's kind of get into some basics of combat. All right, and this can be used for veterans or for very first beginners or people who maybe have been playing for a few hours or a few days a week. But I mean, all this information you may not know. So anyway, I'm gonna chop it up into like 3 sections. We're gonna go over blocking, we're gonna go over attacking, and then we're gonna go over attack types. If you guys are pretty good on blocking, you want to switch to any one of the other ones, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, let's enjoy the video. All right, everybody, so starting off with blocking. So blocking at its core is relatively simple. So you must be holding a weapon or a shield to start blocking. You cannot do it with just your bare hands, unfortunately. Otherwise, you would see some crazy people out there just going completely armorless, weaponless, and destroying this game. But right now, you have to at least have a shield in your hand in order to block. So when you hold down block, you will notice at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a block meter appear. Now, when that meter appears, basically, if it fills up at all on that final hit, you will be stunned. So you try your best not to get that to fill up. And you do that by rotating in between blocking and attack. So the less you're holding that block button, the meter the moment you let it go, the meter will start decreasing. Okay, the meter's going to go away, but you'll see it'll start decreasing because the next time you pull it up, it'll be lower than it was. Now, depending on whether you're holding a shield, what type of armor you have on, things like that, that meter can be much larger, or it can just be the standard one that you start out with. So that really depends on how you want to play. If you want to go more of a blocking style, then you would add on things like a shield or certain armor types that boost amount of blocking damage you can take before you are stunned. So there are two types of blocking in this game. So you can hold the block button and then it'll just block damage coming in, but it will not block all the damage coming in. So you have to be careful when doing this because you can still take damage and still receive status effects from certain type of damage creatures. So if a spider who has poison or a wolf spider who has poison still hits you through that type of block, you can still get poisoned through that block. So you have to be careful with this type of blocking. The other form of blocking is called perfect blocking. This is when you time an attack from a creature perfectly with holding down, with clicking the block button. You'll see a yellow flash appear on the screen. It's very small, right around the spot in which the creature impacts into the shield or to the weapon that you're holding. You'll see a little yellow flash that lets you know you've perfect blocked. You'll also take no damage and no status effects will happen whatsoever. This also has a chance, depending on certain mutations and certain things you have on, to refill stuff like stamina or anything like that. So this is where you kind of can really get the upper hand in a lot of fights in this game, because if you learn move sets of various creatures, which should be your overall goal, once you've learned move sets, because they basically just repeat them on and off, so as long as you know the type of attack that's coming, you can start to learn to time it perfectly to hit perfect blocks. You do not have to hit perfect blocks all the time, but they do help a lot if you can land them. And if you can master them, you can honestly beat just about every boss in this game with little to no problem, because all you have to do is perfect block. And as long as you can keep perfect blocking every one of their moves, they can never hurt you, because you can negate all damage that happens. So this is an amazing talent to learn. I'm not perfect at it. I try my best to do as much as I can. I do hit a lot of good perfect blocks in a row, but every now and then I let a few slip by just because my timing's slightly off and things like that. So you got to keep it. The harder the enemy, the faster they're going to be, so the harder they're going to be to time. You'll learn that quickly when you start progressing through the yard. You'll notice that rain ants are a little bit slower. Then you'll run into larvae who are a little bit faster. Then you'll run into ladybugs who aren't super fast, but then when you run into their counterparts, ladybird larvae, the tier 3 ones up at the top, they are going to be a lot faster in their move sets. Even though they do kind of do the same thing, they're still a lot faster. So things like that you really have to pay attention to. So learn your perfect blocks. Decide whether you want to have a lot of blocking damage or you want to just use weapons. You're not going to worry too much about blocking damage because you're going to try to perfect block as much as possible. Things like that. So figure out that set you want to work with and then move forward in the game, and good luck with blocking. moving on to the next topic. So attacking. So attacking in this game is going to be pretty straightforward, and you're going to figure that. I mean, it's not hard to realize that you have to swing your weapon to attack, but it's integrating that with blocking and how to block properly and use your weapons properly to get that attack to do the max amount of damage that it can do. So if you'll notice, every time you're picking a weapon or something like that, you'll see that that has a damage meter on it. That is generic damage. It shows you a ballpark, and you can kind of get an idea. Like, you don't know exactly how much damage per numbers what you're doing, but you know that this does more damage than this, but you know, so you kind of weigh it out that way. But maybe this one's faster, so if you're going faster, then you're applying more damage, things like that. So you need to pay attention to your style of play. If you want to have heavy clubs in your hand that swing slower but do more damage on each hit, then that's perfect. Or if you want to be the fast light player who has daggers in their hand that are really fast but don't do a ton of damage, but they hit more times than a club can in a matter of a few seconds, that could mean the difference between how you choose to fight. Also, you have to know that each types of weapons have hit combos that you have to pay attention to. So most of your weapons are going to have a 3-hit combo. So you'll notice that you're going to do a 1 swing, 2 swing, and then an overhead swing some type of way. 3-hit combo. But what you may not know is that the first hit only does a 50% damage. 50% of your total damage. The second hit only does 50% of your total damage. The third hit is 100% of the total damage. Daggers are the only substitute. They do a 2-hit combo, 1 slash to the left, 1 swipe to the right. That's it. So just know that you are doing less damage on your first swipe. You have to complete the full combo to get the full damage. And other than that, coupling this in with blocking, that's really your only product here. So you want to maintain a perfect combo each time you hit. You want to try to always get the 3 hit out. If you think an attack is coming, don't really worry about doing a hit. That way you don't waste stamina. Perfect block, stop the attack from coming, and then do a triple, and then do your 3-hit combo so that you get the full damage out, so that you're not wasting any energy and any stamina while swinging weapons. Another attack that you're capable of doing would be a charged attack. So you have a basic attack that does the combos, but then you also can hold down the attack button to do a charged attack. Takes a little bit longer to get off, but once it does offer an increased amount of damage, different than your 100% damage that you would get from your normal weapon. So charged attacks are beneficial if you can get enough time to charge them and then get the attack off. So super useful if you do tend to use that. Also, with weapons, with pretty much any weapon you are holding, actually with a lot of things you are holding, you can throw everything that's pretty much in your hands if you'd like to. Now, throwing things if you hit your target, do damage them quite a bit, but you do have to hit the target. Some things like spears, if thrown, do a massively increased amount of damage just because they have the Javelier mutation that offers more increased damage if thrown. So keep that in mind. If you have an enemy trying to escape you and you can throw something at them really quick, if you don't have any arrows on you or anything like that, then you are welcome to throw your weapon for an increased amount of damage to finish off the final kill. Super cool if it actually hits and does really good. Moving on to our last topic, and probably the most information that I can give you in this video, it's going to be your attack types. So in a nutshell, your basic attack types are going to be depending on the weapon that you're holding. Now, there are 6 attack types in this game for characters to use, and that's the basic attack types. You're going to use chopping, busting, explosion, generic, stabbing, or slashing. Chopping is obviously axes, busting would be hammers, explosions would be like your bombs. Generic damage is a lot of clubs do generic damage, and some of the like boss weapons that you get do generic damage, or your like specialty weapons, pinch whacker, things like that now will do generic damage. They don't have like a specific role. Now, as far as I know, and according to the peeper cards, I don't think anything is resistant to generic damage. Now, if I'm wrong about that, please put that in the comments below. Though I can't find anything as of right now that is resistant to generic damage. I think everything, it's not weak to it, but it just isn't resistant to it. And we'll go over that in just a minute. Now, stabbing is like your arrows do stabbing damage. Your spears do stabbing damage. Also, the the rapiers, the needles, the mosquito needles and stuff like that do stabbing damage as well. Slashing would be like your swords, your daggers, anything that you can think of kind of coming across the enemy. That would be your slashing damage. You also have things called elemental damage in this game. Elemental damage comes from candies. You have your spices, your fresh, your sour, and your salty. Once you find the candy pieces, you can upgrade just about every weapon in this game to take on an elemental role if you want. That is your choice completely. If you don't choose an elemental path, you will take its generic route, whatever it currently has. You will just up or level it up that way. It's called the mighty route. Other damages you can do are crit, poison, venom, corrosion, shock. You get these by a crit will just be something that you acquire as you play through the game. You'll be able to offer a critical chance, though critical chances are very low in this game, though they do hit pretty hard when they're joined in with a few other aspects of the game, such as meals, different armor types that boost crit damage. Poison, same thing. All of these are ticks over time for the most part. So poison is probably one of the more notable ones that you'll see a lot of people make builds. I've made plenty of videos on how to use poison. Venom is a newer one to the game that come along with Black Widow. She offers you a super venom, which you can add that to arrows. You can add that, or you have that if you have a certain mutation unlocked when you're using the Club of the Mother Demon. And corrosion, it came along with the corrosion is one that we've kind of always had. Different acid spitting creatures offer corrosion. Shock damage is something you can get from a mutation you can turn on. Also, you can get it from the pinchwhacker weapons, stuff like that. Now, the biggest reason to know that these things exist in the game is that anytime you peep a creature in this game, you guys probably already know this, you get a creature card. Once you go look at that card, you can see what they are weak to and what they are resistant to. So if you find that you're facing a creature that is weak to spicy and stabbing, maybe having a spicy arrow will do a lot of damage to start off the fight, and then you can come in with just a standard stabbing spear and finish them off. Things like that. So having that extra little extra little damage in this game can literally mean the difference between you dying and that creature dying. So, all right, guys, that's the video. I hope you guys like this. It was kind of an overhaul of just the combat and how it works in different aspects of the game. Now, this isn't everything that combat has to offer in this game. I'm sure there's some stuff that I might have left out, maybe some minor details that I just didn't quite go further into. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. Or we have a wonderful community here. I have a wonderful group of people that watch these videos, and they answer questions a lot of times maybe before I can get to them, but I usually say that yeah, I agree with what they said. But hey, I mean, just leave your comment below if you have any questions. I'd love to talk to you, love to answer them. And hey, as you guys know, as always, I'll gladly catch you in the next one. Peace out.